friends, we just hope and pray for the best, and regardless of what the outcome is, we as gun owners, we as patriotic Americans, we cannot give up, and we certainly don't intend to. We've got to go on with our letter writing. We still have some hope in the Congress and hopefully in the Senate, and we're not going to let the anti-gun types, the one world, new world order people, we're not going to let them disarm us. We're not going to let them ruin our lives or our children's lives. We're not going to let them do it. We're just flatly not. We are glad to have you. We have some things I think you'll be interested in seeing on our program today. I certainly hope so. And remember that the American Freedom Network, we're going to have a section in their magazine. So that's something we're really looking forward to. Well, you know, friends, one of the things we've seen by the media, by the liberal establishment, has been a whole lot of shots fired. I mean, a whole lot of things bandied about. I've never seen a media campaign on the state level or the national level deteriorate to the levels it's been this year. The numbers of outright lies told. So let's take an example of that. You know, friends, you can blast away. You can blast away when you're not telling the truth. You can make all the charges you want, make it something like this, and nothing's done. But then you can come with the truth and take one good shot with the truth, and doggone it, that's how we're going to win. We're going to win with the truth and the best shots. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and this is my good friend and esteemed colleague, Leroy Scott. Friends, we're glad to be in your homes today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very special shooting show. This may be the last shooting show in this series today, and we want to talk about what we've done over the past 6 years. There are a lot of things that we want to touch on in this next time period we're going to be talking. Well, Judge, how you doing today, sir?
I'm pretty good, Johnny. I'll stay busy.
Well, what's your take on what happened on Tuesday of this week?
Well, I think that we didn't lose any grounds, but we didn't gain any.
Yeah.
We lost a little bit of ground in some places. We've still got some ground yet to be recovered. For example, Steve Stockman in Texas is in a runoff, and he needs help and support.
Yes.
There are some others that are in runoffs. I don't know anybody besides Stockman that's in it, because I got a call from GOA about that today. We had some good pro-gunners that did not win in the elections Tuesday. We had one good pro-gunner senator who lost, Senator Presley in South Dakota. But we picked up seats in the Senate, not necessarily with strong pro-gunners, but Republicans, and that will keep Trent Locke as Speaker, as Majority Leader, and it will keep Newt Gingrich as Speaker of the House. Now those are friends that we have more or less.
Right.
The gun issue wasn't made a tremendous issue in the campaign, although I thought that Sarah Brady's utterances at the Democratic National Convention would probably unite gun owners. Obviously, it did not.
Well, let's take a brief look. And friends, please stay tuned with us today, because this is a very, very important program. We're going to have some things we can talk about that you can do to help us stay on the air. When we talk about, you know, Bob Dole was a sort of an ambivalent friend to gun owners. Sometimes he was, and other times he didn't see the point. And what do you think about the NRA stand? The NRA sort of hung back on this one, didn't they?
I don't know, Johnny. NRA put out a voting guide to all of the people, all of their members in the country. I don't think that they hung back as much as it seems to me the NRA did what they could.
Right.
GOA did what they could.
Well, that is an important point. Go ahead.
I think gun owners generally were complacent because they thought that in 1994 that they had won their battles and they wouldn't have to do anything anymore. That's not true. They do have to do something, and they've got to do it now. They've got to do it in preparation for the 1996 election, 1998 elections, and for the year 2000 elections. But vigilance is something that's hard to get a diverse group such as gun owners really interested in. Now let me tell you what has happened. For example, the firearms industry had a few booming years when Clinton was seeking to ban guns and restrict the importation of guns and so on. So everybody went out and bought whatever they could afford to buy. Now the sales have slacked off because everybody's bought what they wanted, mostly. And most of the firearms manufacturers are cutting back production. They're laying people off. I think that's significant in the economy, but apparently nobody seemed to think the economy was in trouble. Nobody except Dole and maybe a few others, and I don't think they knew how much trouble it was in. Our friend Buchanan knew how much trouble it's in and tried to tell everybody.
We helped him.
But apart from that, they have not supported this show. You've seen a few ammunition. You've seen Corbin on here. You've seen
well, some of the smaller custom shops. Our good friends Clark Custom Guns, some smaller efforts or smaller companies have supported our program. By and large, the gun industry, I'm glad you brought that up, the gun industry itself has not seen fit. Now, here's what we faced, friends, for all these years. We started this project in the belief that it had to be done. Because you know what? If left to typical programming, you and I know that this is just an inanimate object. This is your basic old AR-15 type gun. It is an inanimate object. This is a great defense gun for the home, for people of smaller stature. It is a great gun to have to prevent any tyrannical government from taking over, as these guns are in use all around the world just for that purpose. You know, in a lot of countries, we have given arms to all kinds of countries where they fought a tyrannical government. That's what these things are for. The problem is in the popular media, in popular network programming. We're talking about the major networks. They try and vilify these guns. They take handguns and they equate this. Now there are signs around school campuses that have a gun and a slash through it, a gun-free school zone. Friends, what is literally happening before our very eyes is that guns and the concept of gun ownership in our country is being vilified. It's being made to look like a terrible thing. The government, the New World Order people, the one world types do not want the civilian populations anywhere to continue owning guns, because then, until the civilian populations are totally disarmed, they cannot have a police state. That's what this is all about. We've been saying this for years. We've had all kinds of guests on our program. The judge and I have talked about how important it is to be politically involved in our country. And what's happened, the shooting industry did not, honestly, and I say this unashamedly, the people in the manufacturing part of the shooting industry have got to be the dumbest bunch of people on the face of the earth, because they don't understand that on this medium television, you can buy all the advertising you want to in magazines, and we support magazine advertising, but they're losing the battle. Not only losing the battle, they're losing the war for gun ownership in this country on television. We have tried and tried to tell these people how life works. They have got to be, what we have seen so many times, people that manufacture these guns at most of the time are not really shooters. They don't have a vest, don't even watch TV, don't even know what's going on. And this, you can call them, just go get your directory of the largest gun manufacturers and start at the top, and it goes right down with a couple of exceptions. They don't even understand what this is about. And then there's a program on one of the large sports networks. They say, well, we'll support the large sports network, which will not allow handgun advertising. It will not allow anything said about rights, because, friends, this is what we got kicked off the Outdoor Channel Network for, was he and I sitting here talking about what was happening politically and gun rights. This is a war that we're in fact losing. And we have tried, I don't mind telling you, I have given everything that I had in support of this project. This man sitting next to me has helped Bobby here in the studio today. We've done everything. I have worked for 9 years without a salary because we see that literally we're going to lose everything we've got. They're going to take everything away. We have tried. We have called these people at the manufacturers. We have gone to see them. We've said, look, here's what's happening. The only way that we can possibly reach the American public is on television. All right, the organized networks will not sell time to anybody talking about what we're talking about in support of firearms. There is a conspiracy, call it whatever you want. They flat will not do it. They will not. Even some of the so-called conservative networks in Washington, D.C. that we called after the Outdoor Channel, they said, oh, no, we don't want anything. Controversy, tell you what, friends, this is a matter of freedom and slavery. And we have, the only way that we can get into homes around this country, we know how to do it, is on satellite television. And here's what you do. We buy enough time on the satellite and make our program available to enough cable companies. The good news is that the cable companies are mercenary enough that they will have popular programming. They don't care, pro-gun, whatever. A lot of the local cable companies, especially in rural areas. Okay, we don't have the money in our project right now to buy more time. This program has been very expensive to do. Let's think about this. Now, folks, please think about this. If we had 100 people that would pledge $100 a month, that would be $10,000 a month. That would keep us on the air. That would keep us on the air. We could grow and do some things. We could buy more time on the satellite. Our problem now on Sunday evenings when our program airs on Sunday, a lot of the people at cable companies are not there. A lot of you at home are there to watch. A lot of the folks, the cable companies don't have any staff in place. So there's no one there to tape our show. So what we've got to do is we've got to get on more times during the week so the local cable companies can take down our show and put in their commercials. And you folks watching by satellite know where we're talking about. We have a minute every 15 minutes where they can put in their own commercials and they can make money on our show. But honestly, friends, we appreciate everyone that's helped us. We appreciate our gun club members, but we got to have some help. He and I and Bobby and our families, we can't go any further by ourselves. This has got to be done. The industry has just not seen fit. They want to go with the flow. The flow is going against us, friends. If you go with the flow, we're going to lose the war. And the NRA has not, they're going to do their own TV show, and it's off the air, and they have not expressed, because we tell the truth. We don't have a bureaucratic organization that will prevent us from getting this done. We have a small company that, you know, friends, you've seen more stuff about shooting on this program in the last 6 years than in any other place imaginable. This is the only place that you get the 100%, no ifs, no ands, no buts, truth about shooting is on this shooting show. And we're going to take a station break. We'll be right back.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, we're back with you. I'm Johnny Rowland, as most of you know. Of course, I'm joined by my good friend Leroy Scott. Listen, friends, I'm not here just lambasting the gun companies, although they probably deserve it. We're talking about people who don't understand the issues that are going on. These knuckleheads with the firearms companies, and that's all I can say about them, Judge, because we have done so many favors. Companies have gotten so much free advertising on our program, and boy, they've loved it too. But see, we're not part of the establishment that goes around and goes to hospitality parties at the SHOT Show, and I don't want to be. I don't have time for that. We're there to do a job. We're here on the scene to serve you and all of us. This is partly a selfish thing, friends, because I don't want to give up these guns. The judge doesn't want to give up these guns. None of us do. But the problem has been that so many of the people in the manufacturing business don't have a clue about how television works. They're about 50 years behind in their brain. You know, Judge, ignorance is treatable, but stupid goes on forever. Well, we don't care. We can't help their stupidity. We can't even help their ignorance. But what we can do is bring the truth about guns and gun ownership and about what is going on to the rest of America. Now, friends, go ahead.
Well, Johnny, that's what you've been trying to do now for the past 4, 5, 6 years. Let me tell you some things, ladies and gentlemen. This man, Johnny Rowland, has supported this program with his time, with his effort, with his finances, and he has impoverished himself in doing it. He spent his entire inheritance. He's borrowed money. He sold his Harley-Davidson motorcycle. He sold a 45 automatic the other day in order to get the money to put on to pay bills that'll pay for part of this last program. Maybe it's not the last program, but it's the last in this series because we need to be off for a while. Johnny does not have the finances to carry it. At my age, I cannot afford to throw my entire net worth into the thing because I see that the firearms people, the ones that are profiting from the publicity they get on this program, are not supporting the program in most cases. There are a few cases they are. This program was just beginning to really break out and show a slight profit when the Outdoor Network chopped us off, and they chopped us off because of the political aspect of it. Now, it's nice and entertaining to see a lot of things about guns on this program, but if you don't do what's necessary to keep the right to keep and bear arms, it's all going to be history. It's going to be history. Now, in this last election, we didn't gain very much. We gained a few seats in the Senate. We've lost some seats in the House. Fortunately, we still have Newt Gingrich as the Speaker of the House, and I hope his promise that no anti-firearms legislation is going to move in committee or in the House as long as he's Speaker. But the trouble is some anti-firearms legislation has gone through the House. It's gone through in the form of amendments to appropriation bills, and there are significant restrictions today that weren't here a year ago. Johnny's done what he could do. Now, we're still on the radio with the Thinking Right Network.
American Freedom Network, Thinking Right program, yeah.
The Thinking Right program on the American Freedom Network. And that's on 2 hours every Sunday morning. 9.45 megahertz.
No, it's on GE, now the new satellite, GE1. We're not on shortwave at the present time due to some difficulties the network had. But we're on GE1 channel 7, I believe, 5.8 audio horizontal polarity. And we intend to continue on the radio, and certainly you folks can call us on that. And we're working on the magazine project for the American Freedom Magazine. And friends, there are some things that you can do. One of which, if you would like to join us, now please write this down. Our permanent address. You can get to us, our permanent address. You can send to the Shooting Show or Johnny Rowland, 327 Urban Rowland Road. Same address our gospel show. 327 Urban Rowland Road, Dubberly, Louisiana. That zip code is 71024. Now you've also our phone line 1-800-728-8486. Also our business office is in Carthage, Texas. Bobby, what's your address over there? 1025 West Garrison. 1025 West Garrison, and that is in Carthage, Texas. What's your zip, Bobby?
75633.
75633. Again, 75633. Okay, now here's something else you can do. You know, are we literally, as gun owners, are we going to let handgun control? They have millions of dollars to work with, millions of dollars that are against us from a very small percentage of the population. Plus, there are some breaks there they've gotten from the government, some other things that are real shady. Okay, here's something you can do. We have our phone deal. We have this great long-distance phone carrier, and it's one of the companies with 3 big initials. And let me tell you what, this is a great thing because it's the best long-distance rates I've ever heard of, but also some opportunities for you and us to make money are in it. And we've got some organizations now that are starting to pick this up with us, and a couple of months down the road, we're hoping that maybe it'll pay for us getting back on with your help. You can call them. Write this down. Right now we don't have graphics, we don't have character generation because this is live as we're doing it. Write this down, please. 1-800, free call, 648-8411. Please write this down, 1-800-648-8411. And talk to our folks that are handling the long distance phone situation. One, we get a little override on the phone bill. It's not very much, it's 4%. But they will pay us that 4%. If we had 10,000 people literally join up on this, see, it would pay us and certainly help keep us on the air. Please, friends, because this battle has only begun. And look, I've given all I can for now. I've got to have some help. We got to have some help. If some of you out there that would like to join us, you could contribute. If we had 500 people that would give us $50 a month toward our program, that would be a tremendous help. If we had 1,000 people that would give $10 a month, see, 1,000 people subscribe 10,000. That would be 10,000 a month. That would keep us on the air. 1,000 people, friends, out there at $10 a month. Whatever, friends, you can do. Now, this is a bitter pill because we're not people that give up easily, as most of you are not people that give up easily. But a lot of the people that we've had, you've seen commercials on our program, we've tried to help. We have helped a lot of people, and guess what? We sold a bunch of advertising on credit, and guess what? They decided that they didn't have to pay. I will never run another sponsor in our entire career, radio, magazine, TV. I'll never run another spot that's not paid for in advance because we have been nailed to the wall by some large organizations too that you would all know that just say, well, we don't think we can pay now. We don't have any. Well, I'm tired of hearing that because we've got to have some help. If you like what we do, if you like the approach we've taken, the reason we were put off the air by the Outdoor Channel was because he and I would not shut up about gun issues. They told us we had to take off anything camouflage, couldn't have the black guns, anything to do with talking about gun rights was a no-no. Well, as I've told many of you out there talking, we said it after the show, we're always saying, let's stand up and tell the truth. Well, the time came, it was our turn. So for all of you and all of us, we stood up and told the truth. And they socked it to us pretty good. It was a tremendous financial loss. But friends, if you want to keep our programming on, we can expand, we can buy more time on the satellite, more, and we know how to do it. We just don't have the money to do it right now. Comment.
Well, you've heard what he had to say, and I think what he said is absolutely true. From what I know, it is true. Johnny needs help, and this program needs help, and you need help.
That's right.
And if you're not willing to try to do something to help, A lot of people thought that the Republican Revolution in '94 was sufficient to carry us through, and that was it. You can see it didn't carry through. We've lost some members of Congress. We've lost some of the best members of Congress. Helen Chenoweth in Idaho only won by 5,000 votes in half the state of Idaho. Stockman is in a runoff. Incidentally, Scarborough won handedly in Florida.
Good.
And we are just going to have your help. And if you're not willing to put something in it, then just resign yourself to what's going to happen.
This is the only programming that you found on television where you heard about the school zone gun ban. Only one. Now hopefully we're going to prevent some people going to jail by informing. See, friends, that's what it's all about. We can respond. Here's what the magazines can't do, and I'm in the process of writing a magazine article. We're not against magazines, but the magazines cannot respond instantaneously. We can respond within a few days. The best magazine can respond to something that the Clintonians or the socialists, the other Marxists can respond to what they do. It takes the magazines about 6 weeks at best, 45 days at best to respond. We can respond instantaneously. We can alert you. And let me tell you what, the pressure has got to be kept up on these congressmen, on these representatives, and that works. That does work. What percentage of the population voted this time, Judge, in the presidential election?
Under 50%.
How about 25% of the population elected Bill Clinton? Now that's a disgrace. Less than 25%. What?
Well, this is just one of those things. Now, I'm not in favor of everybody voting.
Yep.
25%, 50% vote may have been all right. I don't know who it was that voted and who didn't. But I don't believe that 70 million gun owners voted. There are more than that. There are that many handgun owners. I don't believe that many voted. You have got to get up and do it. And you've got to do it yourself. And just because you own a shotgun and like to go out either hunting or shooting clay pigeons, don't think they're not after your guns too, because they are. This man is telling the truth, and it is the avowed purpose of handgun control and other organizations to take all of our guns away. Now, they'll deny it, but that's in the literature where at first they said that, and then they realized how unpopular it was, so then they've just taken at it incremental. They've tried to bite at it a little bite at a time, and it's working. It really is working.
Of course it's working.
And if we don't stand together, I think one of our founding fathers said, if we don't hang together, we shall surely hang separately.
Well, that's really true, friends, because you can't deny it. Just look in the popular publications, not gun. This is another thing too. The firearms industry will advertise, spend millions of dollars in the gun magazines, but they're preaching to the choir. We're the only program that reaches people that more important than the choir. We got the congregation. We got the sinners out here that literally need to know what this is about. If you just support the publications, you've got gun owners reading the publications. You don't have people. We've had a tremendous response over the years from women, from people. We've heard from people all over the country that literally have said, you know, Johnny, I didn't like guns, didn't think my wife was afraid of guns, or saying we were always afraid, until we saw how the proper handling was, the proper usage, what they in fact really are, how these things do not have a mind of their own. But let me tell you what, friends, like the judge is saying, these organizations and your government, the people leading your government right now, want us disarmed. Okay, the only chance we've got, the absolute 100% only chance we've got, is to educate the American people on what this is about. Our shooting show does that better than anything else. And which time we got to take a station break, and we'll be right back. Don't you dare leave. We'll be right back.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
friends, we appreciate you staying with us. I'm Johnny Rowland. This is The Shooting Show. This is Leroy Scott. I want to mention again, please get your pencil and piece of paper. One of the ways you can help us, it costs nothing to get on this discount long-distance service. It is through probably the best carrier out there. It costs nothing to do it. You can call. Please write this down. 1-800-FREE-CALL, 648-8411. We're not flashing numbers up because we're running live through the camera. 1-800-648-8411. And please look into this. These are very nice people. There are some great opportunities, and we hope this is going to be one of the ways that we can earn some money, that we can stay on the air through our phone project, because they have some opportunities out there for you to also, you as a viewer, to make some money as well as saving money on long distance. So please, friends, this will be one way that you can keep our shooting program up. I certainly want to thank our good friends, the Clarks. We want to thank Corbin for their participation they've done. The New American Magazine has been good to us, but a whole bunch of others, have not kept their part. They sure have enjoyed the business they've done off advertising. We had one custom gun shop that told me that we did a piece on their program that sold 40 guns at $1,000+ a piece, but they couldn't afford to advertise after we did that. That's okay. That's okay, because you don't have to worry. They won't get on anymore. The thing is, friends, it's there. We can do it. We can reach the American population, but we can do it by buying more time on satellite. There is a possible deal that we can get on the low orbit satellites. The cable companies, believe me now, the cable companies around the area, because the Outdoor Channel told us that we were the most popular program on the network, and then when they started doing something else, then they told us we were among the most popular programming that they ever had. And of course, then those other people came in. They decided that to the large companies, a freedom program with, of course, our United Nations flag, which is not, of course, our American flag, our no more United Nations flag, couldn't have that. That's controversial. Well, friends, if we don't stand up and tell the truth, if we don't, then who will? And if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? And the next thing is, who's going to be left to do it? You got a comment? I know you do.
Well, there are some good organizations still. I think the NRA is not the tops of that although I'm a life member, and they have tried to apologize for this school zone gun ban by saying it's not as bad as we've painted it to be, but it is. Yep. Gun Owners America have stood up on it. Now, that's a no-compromise organization, and I have to hand it to them. GOA is a great outfit. They want us to help support Steve Stockman in Texas, and that's one of these elections now that's going to be held in December, because a federal judge redrew all of the boundaries down there, and there are 13 or 14 districts that are completely different from what they ever were before. Steve Stockman's is one of them, and he's our number one supporter, number one or number two.
In the whole Congress, yeah.
He's among the top supporters that we have.
For gun owners.
For gun owners, and we want you to help him. The Political Victory Fund at GOA is soliciting funds, and I'll tell you, I'm going to send him some money. I'm not going to send him a whole lot of money, because a whole lot of money that I had to send has already been sent. Johnny's gotten some of it. But we do need to keep the right-thinking people in Congress, and Steve Stockman is one of them. People in South Texas need to help him, but gun owners from all over the country ought to be helping him. If 1,000 people sent him $10 apiece, you'd have $10,000, and that won't pay but for a little bit of television time.
On other TV, certainly $10,000 keep us on for a month.
Well, that's true.
If that's true.
Our actual costs here are running us around $1,500 a week, and that's without Johnny taking anything to support himself.
Without Bobby, without a phone, anything, just pure raw cost.
But $1,500 to $2,000 a week will keep this program going.
Yep.
And that is about, what, about $100,000 a year.
Well, it's, yeah.
About $100,000 a year. Now, Johnny's appealing for people to make contributions, and he's dead serious about it. We need the contributions. We will stop receiving contributions when the advertising gets to the point, the paid advertising
Sure.
gets to the point where it'll support the show.
And
But
we
need your support. And Johnny is so excited about this whole thing that he's spent his entire inheritance on it. He's gone into debt on it. I admire him for it, and he's enthusiastic. He keeps wanting to talk. He won't let me finish, but that's all right, because I know that Johnny means it, and you can feel his enthusiasm. I'm afraid if that much enthusiasm had been shown in the congressional races, we might have done better. But anyhow,
Well, we're not through. We're not through, friends. As soon as, if we can put it together but I promise you this, the advertisers we have, there's no more going to be no more good old boy stuff. They're going to have to.
how many
We're almost there, John.
Well, that's true.
how many times did I tell you that, Johnny?
Well,
Until the outhouse channel took us off the air, we were almost there.
well, the thing is,
Just got
and
things going. Our sponsors,
Bobby's giving some comments. We'll get you on in just a second, Bobby. Hold up. Keep your comment over there. That was like our radio show Sunday. We had the judge and Tex Mart. I thought they was going to fight. They were in the same room together. We had a hostile caller from over in Alabama, and I won't even go in. I had a little personal tragedy going on at the same time. All this is going on. What a show, what a show. But, you know, hey, we're not through. I mean, you know, these people, we're not. And we're going to figure something out, but we got to have your help to do it. What?
We are through if we don't get your help.
On the air for now, that's true.
Yeah, that's true, unless Johnny wins the lottery. If he wins the lottery,
Well, I don't buy lottery tickets, so I can't win the lottery. Or if you win it, you buy lottery tickets. I don't. The thing is, folks, we can do it. We can buy at $1,500 a week. We cannot buy more airtime, but at $2,000 a week, we can buy more airtime. We can get on more often with some contributions and with some sponsors. We can get on more often. If we had someone out there that was very well heeled, we can establish a gun owners network, literally, and have complete programming sympathetic to gun owners. All kinds of other programming that would like to have a chance to get on there, we can do that. We can keep our show on multiple times a week, and the cable companies will run it. If you're there, if they can tape you, if they can get hold of you, they will run it.
well, let me just lambast a few people right now for a minute,
Well, go for it,
because I'm kind of a direct person.
at least.
How much help have you gotten from Ruger?
None. Zero.
How many times have you featured Ruger firearms on your program?
50, 60 times.
How much help have you gotten from Smith & Wesson?
Only test guns, a few test guns, that's all.
No advertising revenue.
Not one dime. Nothing.
How many times have you featured Smith & Wesson's guns?
200, 300 times.
Same thing about Colt.
Springfield Armory.
Springfield
Colt,
Armory.
Taurus, the folks, you name it.
How about the outfit out there in Arizona?
Dillon Precision. We've featured Dillon many times. But Dillon has been a very, very small amount of help. Who are you thinking about?
The gun site.
Inside Training Academy.
They very small amount of advertising. Dollars. We did a lot for them.
And yet they've been featured. You had a whole shows on nothing but what they
A
have
couple
out
of
there.
shows, yes.
Gun side owes about $3,000.
Well, that's anyway. A lot of people have just maybe, and for in some of these companies, no doubt, not the bigger ones, but some of the smaller concerns, I'm sure, have not been able to. But the problem is, friends, it doesn't matter. The expenses go on. This deal in our studio is cash money. These folks are wonderful people, but they got to have money to run the machines. When we buy the time on the bird, on the satellite, that's cash money right then. There's no credit's extended to us. So, what? Go ahead. You had a point you want to make.
Johnny, you talk so much I don't get a chance to keep the thought in my mind.
Excuse me.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we want to thank the good folks at Clark Custom Guns. We're actually going to have a gun feature day if we have time, and The Bushmaster people are offering to make us distributors for Bushmaster AR-15s, and they're very fine guns, and certainly you can call Bobby.
How many
for that.
people exhibit at the SHOT Show?
1,500 exhibitors, 1,500 companies exhibit at the SHOT Show.
How many of those companies actually advertise with us?
About 3, 4. I'm telling you, friends, the gun industry is the dumbest group of people on the face of the earth. The absolute dumbest bunch of people on the face of the earth, because they don't understand what is happening around them. And we have, we had our gun club members write to the manufacturers, didn't do a hill of beans worth of good.
Well, we got some phone calls out of it.
Got some phone calls out of it, no money out of it. And
incidentally, while I'm thinking about it, if there's a lawyer listening to this program out in California who wants to handle a claim against the Outdoor Channel, then get in touch with us. Get in touch with us, because they just about crucified us. And I think there may be a possibility of a damage suit there. And of course, in California, you have punitive damage, and it might get us completely well, Johnny.
Well, Judge, $4, $5, $7, $8 million, that would help.
Break even.
That would help us dramatically. And hey, it's worth a shot.
Well, there's no point in my doing it. I'm in Louisiana. I can't practice law in California. I don't even like to go to California because they got goofy gun laws. I went over California on my flight to Hawaii. I left Dallas and made it all the way to Hawaii in one flight. But really, seriously, we need your help. It's in extremis at this point. We need to do something. You need to do something. And if you don't, then don't blame us. We tried.
That's right. Do not blame us. And I don't know, blame whoever you want to, but they can't blame us. There's a piece in the Bible that I was quoted earlier today. I forget right now. I forget where it came from, but I believe it was one of Paul said, "I have fought the good fight. I have kept the faith." Well, friends, we have, and some of you certainly have helped us. We appreciate every gun club member. We appreciate everyone who's done anything. We really do. And look, we're not through. I mean, the Marine Corps, they never retreat. They have strategic withdrawals. That's true. Marine Corps never retreats. Well, we're Marines here. And we will not be defeated. Now, as we're taping this, as of today, I flatly don't know. But, friends, it's not over. And you cannot imagine, how completely tenacious we are. Are we getting close to a station break? Are we close? How close are we? Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Well, friends, we're coming back with you. I'm Johnny Rowland, and this, of course, the person sitting next to me is my good friend and our sales marketing director, Bobby Christie. And Bobby mans our phone over in Carthage, Texas. He is the person that many of you talk to when you call our 800 number. Friends, as we said earlier in the program, this is a very special broadcast, and if you care about what all we've done over these years with the shooting show, if you care about our future as far as firearms in this country, our rights as gun owners in this country, well, please, we're asking for your support. We're not like the public broadcast system that gets some government support.
No, we're
We
not.
don't get government support.
No, we're not.
And unfortunately, we have not gotten the support that we believe we should have from the industry. And there are ways around that. As we said earlier, we can get results for our sponsors if we can get on local cable,
Right.
and we can get on the satellite more times in a week. Bobby, what are you hearing from people that are still calling, wondering where the heck we are?
Well, since we went off the Outhouse channel, people have not been able to find us, and they switch through their channels and they pick us up. And they said, "Hey, where'd you go?" And I said, "Well, they took us off several months ago." And they said, "Well, we're just now finding you." So there's a lot of folks out there still looking for us. They're finding us finally, but now it looks like we're going off the air for a while because we simply run out of money. Hopefully, it'll be temporary, and we'll be back up again.
That's right. And let me mention our phone deal again. Friends, this is very important because literally you can help us stay on the air because we're not off. I mean, as you're watching this, we're still on.
Right.
But the problem is this could be the last program in this series.
Right.
And if you'd like to help us stay on the air, and you can't, if we had 1,000 people that would send $10 a month.
Right.
Now that's $2.50 a week.
Right.
The average video rental is higher than $2.50 down here, and you get worthless
Right.
worthless information on the average video rental. $2.50 a week. If we had 1,000 people that would send $2.50, that would keep us on the air. If we had 100 people that would send $100 a month, see, that would help keep us on the air.
That's right.
But we've got to buy more satellite time, more broadcast time, so we can get better results because these small companies that advertise with us, they've got to see results because
That's
they
right.
are smaller companies. A number of organizations, one in particular I'm thinking about, has wanted to do their own program. They're based in the Deep South, an organization. And all these people talk about doing stuff. They sit around and talk about doing stuff. What have they done? Not a doggone thing.
They call me and they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to spend money with you and we're going to do this." And I call them back and I say, "Well, when are we going to start up?" "Oh well, we're still talking about it." But they keep talking about it, and
Will not
our
work.
gun rights are disappearing every day.
They're
They're
disappearing
talking
every
about
day.
it.
Our phone deal, let me give you that phone number. Friends, please write this down. 1-800, a free call, 1-800-648-8411. And today we're doing this live. We don't have character generation. So it's 1-800-648-8411. Please, it doesn't cost you anything. If you want to, you can spend a little bit of money and get in with their prepaid phone card deal. It is a wonderful outfit. It has it's a networking organization. This division, anyway, is a networking group where you can make some serious money for yourself if you want to. And we're depending on this to help pull our shooting show out of this situation that we are in. So many people all over the country have called. We have had thousands and
Right.
thousands. We know you're out there.
Right.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of phone calls. Please write this down. If you want, if by some chance that we're not able to come with another program next week, if you want status on our show, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope, because if we got in 10,000 envelopes, we wouldn't be able to let
Postage.
everybody know we couldn't return the phone calls.
True.
Okay. All right. And please, and of course, you can watch your satellite guides if we come back up. Okay. You can send a stamped, self-addressed envelope. You can send it to me, The Shooting Show, care of Johnny Rowland, 327 Irvin Rowland Road. That is in Dubberly, Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Or you can send it to Bobby. And Bobby, your address is 1025 West Garrison. You send The Shooting Show, 1025 West Garrison, Carthage, 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 Texas. What's your zip code?
75633.
75633. And for now, our Shooting Show 800 number is still up and running. So that number, of course, is 1-800-SAVE-YOU-GUN, 1-800-728-8486. And listen, we're not even contemplating quitting. That's ridiculous, because we're still on the American Freedom Network, and they're wonderful people. Our program is on from 12 to 2 Eastern Time on Sundays. And we're on GE1, Channel 7, and that's 103 degrees west, I believe. General Electric 1, Channel 7. Where are we on time? We're pretty close. We still got a few minutes. You've still got a few minutes left. The American Freedom Network, and of course, if you want to call in on the network, that number, I will give you that one, 1-800-607-8255. What? Go ahead, Bob.
What I was thinking about is I still have a dozen T-shirts left, extra large, $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling. If you still want some Shootin' Show T-shirts, this is going to be about the last one, the original Shootin' Show, like I have on. I think Johnny has one under his vest. We still have them, and I'd like to say, you know, we appreciate our gun club members. I get calls from them almost every day. They help us out a great deal. We appreciate that, and I enjoy talking to them. Well, absolutely, and we do enjoy hearing from you. And please, friends, let me give you my voicemail number. Now, this is important. Write this down. It's area 318. What is it? 6412. What is it? 4218. I'll have to even look. I got it in my wallet. I don't call it enough to.
682-4218. I think we'll get that. Because, like I think so. Live TV, friends. Really, it has been a very strange time, and you know, looking back over things we did this year, we did the Masters. How much we get paid for doing the Masters? Zero. How about zero? Went up there, went on that trip. How much we get paid for doing the SOF convention? Zero. But we did it because our viewers wanted to see it. Right. And Brown and them are good friends of ours. Right. We've tried to help them. They deserve consideration. The other things, the Civil War deals, we didn't get paid for that. No. All these tournaments and things, we didn't get paid for that. But it was interesting programming that we wanted to bring you. And friends, let me tell you what, if we don't change the image that the televised media has on these guns, you don't have to worry. See, it's slipping away. ABC, CBS, NBC, they're not going to tell you the truth. Fox Network, they're not. They're slanted. They are absolutely slanted. They're slanting not only against hunting, but they're slanted against firearms ownership. Now, they will deny that charge, and I'd love to debate any, and we'll open that debate. If anyone want to debate me, I'll be happy to debate them. But literally, on the large networks, the large cable conglomerates are anti-gun. That's what happened to us with the Outhouse Channel. I mean, that's one of the reasons they took us off. They didn't. They couldn't have us on the certain one big cable company said, hey, we can't have that on. There's a guy sitting there with a gun in his hand. We can't do that. That's too controversial. You know, I'll tell you what, friends, if a gang comes to your home, this AR-15 would absolutely be the prettiest thing. Don't call it. That's call 911 and then go ahead and let them kill you. If you get to the phone, go ahead and call, because it'll be minutes, maybe hours before the police can come. But you know what? It's right here. If you know how to use it, can settle the entire event. Because you know who the criminal only picks on? They only pick on the weaker people. They pick on women, on older people, on children. They don't jump on healthy people typically unless they're in a gang. You know what? If you got one of these or one of these, you can settle it. And what we're talking about here, friends, is literally our survival as a free people. And you know one other little thing that's been proven in Afghanistan. You know the problem the Bosnians had? They were disarmed when and the Europeans would not sell arms to the Bosnians, and look what happened to them with the Serbians. Look what the Serbs did to the Bosnians. And in these countries in Africa where they're killing each other on wholesale amounts, look at the things, because the people were not armed. I tell you what, friends, if we give them up, you'll never get them back. What the guy in Ireland, that silhouette shooting, they took theirs away back in the 70s. They said, we're just going to take them and inspect them, and then we're going to give them back to you. Well, that was in the 70s. They haven't got them back yet. That was in the early 70s. And you know what he told me? He says, and it's coming in your country, too. We know it is, because the big three networks don't tell us that, but other news agencies all over the world are telling people that, but our own news media won't tell our people that. Well, I tell you what, there's an article here in the local paper about a carjacking. Well, friends, let me tell you what. I have personally withstood a carjacking, because when that armed man was trying to break into my pickup, actually, and you know what? When he saw the muzzle, and he was armed too. When I came up with the muzzle of this gun, he said, "Oh well, yeah. Guess that's how it is," type thing. I said, "Hey," and the carjacking was over with. That was it. And friends, we've heard from so many women that have been able to defend themselves, protect themselves with the firearm. And I'll tell you what, this is the only place on television you're going to get this information. The only place there is.
That's right. That's right.
And please, if you would, you might write letters. If you can't support us financially, you might write letters to any company. I don't care if you've got a flower shop, you can still advertise with us. Heck, we don't care.
Right.
If you make concrete culverts, okay, great. If you sell pencils, you sell enough of them, you can advertise. We don't care what company, as long as it's as long as it's not some drug cartel or something like that. Because certainly we have never advocated breaking the law, and we will not. And we're the only place on television you can get up to the minute news reports on what is going on. Those are the out there that say, well, we don't really care about what's going on in Congress.
Right.
We don't, all that's all dull. Guess what, friends? Take your head out of the sand.
Right.
Get it out of the ground, because that's where it is.
The good old boys, they want to be left alone. But the government's not going to leave you alone.
No.
Most of us pay over 39% income tax every year.
Think
And it's going to get worse. The next 4 years under Billy Boy, it's going to get a lot worse.
Brady 2 is coming, friends. Which you're going to have, if you own more than a few guns, you're going to have to pay an arsenal tax every year. I understand now the latest thing, if you have 1,000 primers, you can have 1,000 primers in a cupped hand. Absolutely. And you'll have to pay an arsenal tax or ammunition tax. So we just got a couple of minutes left. We're going to have to close down this special program. Friends, we want you to know that we genuinely care about all of you as our viewers. We appreciate you more than we can ever say. This has been a great personal experience for me doing the program. It certainly has been a learning experience, and we're not through. Now, you listen to us, please, on the American Freedom Network. Please watch for our articles in the American Freedom Magazine that we're working on now. And please, friends, please encourage whatever company. And if they say, well, we don't have advertising, that's a lie. If they say they don't have advertising dollars, every company in this country has advertising dollars. And if you care about what we're doing for all of us, for Bobby, myself, the judge, all of us, certainly our good friend, former associate producer Kurt Vickers, who was killed over a year ago, I think we can speak for him too, because he was a very fine person. And friends, we cannot give up now. We cannot let go. And we're not going to give up. We've got to have your help. We've got to have your help. We appreciate your prayers and your consideration. And please, whatever you can do, call Bobby 1-800-728-8486. You can write to us at the addresses. Please remember the phone, the long-distance phone discount deal. Please take a look at it, because it won't cost you anything to get the cheap long-distance rates. You can make some money. It will help us. That number, 1-800-648-8411. So, friends, we have certainly enjoyed doing this project. This may be the last one in this series, and we hope to see you soon.